Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. This is Chairman Capo Daniel of PRAP, the People's Right Advocative Platform. Today, I want to come and give you this video update about the latest push we have for the diplomatic push for the devolution of Cameroon, an alternative pathway for Ambazonians' right of self-determination. We have had a very top high-level delegation of the International Community Organization, a partnering organization to PRAP that has helped us to get a very high level discussion with a trip to Rome. The Pope have been met by a top member team of our international partners led by Lord James and very high members of the ICO. Board members of the ICO included in the delegation. Some were former presidents, leaders of countries. A very high level delegation have met the Pope and they have discussed. The Pope have heard directly from us about our peace plan paper, the PPP, which calls for the devolution of Cameroon to grant the people of the former British Southern Cameroon effective self-governance with exclusive jurisdiction over specific areas of governance and also an international trading status for our territory. This meeting was very successful to push for this peace to return back to our people. The Pope supports this vision. This is a vision that has been waited for by the international community. It makes sense. It is a right thing to do. We are pushing for the Vatican to assist and play the role of a mediator and facilitator for dialogue between us, the people of the Southern Cameroon, and the government, the central government of La République du Cameroon. This is a very important development that I want to bring to you people. We have learned lessons from the past. We cannot just sit and wait for things to happen. We cannot allow the Cameroon government to lobby the international communities to assert themselves in any form of negotiation and dialogue like what happened in Switzerland and in Canada. We also have to lobby other state parties and stakeholders to let them hear from us directly and know our position and be involved. We cannot just sit and wait for things to happen. Armchair diplomacy do not work. We have to be proactive to make our case and let the world hear the voice of our people. So this meeting is very important. We facilitators and mediators are always accepted on both sides before they can play that role. So this process for negotiation and dialogue to end this war, we have championed it. We do not claim total ownership of it. We continue to encourage members to partner with us to come as we gather to have a common position that should reflect the will of our people and consensus amongst the willing partner amongst us separatist members and individuals who have championed our cause as we prepare to meet here in Canada. So I want to inform you about this development and also to let you know the importance why we made this trip, because we need to have strong lobbying for any facilitator to make sure that things are done well and properly and to make sure that our own side of the story is being told. The Pope have heard detailed account of the suffering of our people, the subjugation we are subjected under the rule of the central government of Cameroon. And before I move further to explain other things, there are two things our people have to know. We must know the things we are entitled to. Under international law, our territory, which was a trustee territory under the British government, is entitled for two futures: independence or self-governance. Today, we have independence by joining La République du Cameroon, and our people do not feel a part of that country because of marginalization and dominance of the Francophone section of Cameroon. We also do not have the self-governance which we enjoyed during the time of the British rule as part of Nigeria. As a quasi-autonomous region of Nigeria, we had self-governance, we elected our own officials, we have a legislature, and these are achievements that our people have achieved. And these are entitlements that we are entitled vis-a-vis the promise of the Charter of the United Nations that created the Trusteeship Committee. So we are asking for what we are entitled for under international law. These are also in line with the promise of the Cameroon government when we ascended, when we came to unite with Cameroon. The Cameroon government have made this promise that union with them is not assimilation, union with them will not be annexation. The president of Cameroon have publicly admitted that the Cameroon central government have failed to integrate, which definitely means annexation or assimilation, that the francophonization or assimilation of our people have failed. That violates the cardinal promise that the Cameroon government had made to the international community when we entered into this union. So we are demanding full self-governance. And we have put all these things in the peace plan paper. We have engaged the international community, preparing ourselves to make this offer to the Cameroon government. For those who are not separatists, but are community leaders and other section leaders in our country, elites, who have been calling to engage in this process, their time will come. But those who champion and lead this fight for our freedom, this fight for independence and separation, must also take a lead in decision making. That is why we must first come to consensus as separatist leaders. Then we now engage with the broader Anglophone community with the ultimate hope that we will come up to an all Anglophone conference again. Because there is a fear amongst the leading elite in Cameroon of the secessionist tendency that stems from the previous All Anglophone Conference that have questioned our union with La République du Cameroon. We must it is our duty to alleviate this fear and reassure the rest of Cameroon that we of the Southern Cameroon, we are not driven primarily by secessionists. We don't have a hidden agenda of secession. Our agenda is for our rights that we are entitled to. And we can look at the Quebec region in Canada. We can look at Northern Ireland. And Scotland, they all have constitutional rights for secession. But that right have never been evoked because they are treated so well that their people will prefer to remain as a union rather than separate because of the benefit they are having within the union. So if the Cameroon government are sincere to keep us as one and respect our rights and give us what we are due, then they should never be worried about any secession tendencies. And our people must reassure them of our intention and accept the reality that we entered into a union with La République du Cameroon, voted for by the plebiscite. And it is a legal union. We are one in Cameroon. Cameroon is not French Cameroon that existed before. Cameroon, as we know today, is a union of two states. We must assert this reality and stand on this legal base. It does not mean forfeiting our right by lying about our own history or misinterpreting our own history or the instruments of union between us and La République du Cameroon. We must stand on a truth foundation. Saying that we are one, which we are, does not refuse or diminish any capacity for us to exercise self-determination. Our people should know that. And it is our duty to educate our people properly We have come from generation and generation where our leaders were not accountable to our public. They used propaganda instead of education to motivate us to do things that are for our interests. It's time for us to be on the path of principle, knowledge, and reality to move our people forward. For those who have questioned our cessation of hostility and our push for devolution as a pathway for Ambazonian self-determination, for those who think that it is surrendering, they should look back in history. Emeka Ojukwu of Biafra, who some people think surrendered to Nigeria, is treated as a hero because he knew that the Biafran civil war was headed towards an imminent total loss, and he made the right decision to end the suffering of his people, to make a deal with Nigeria and sign a peace deal that preserve the Biafran people and their movement. The Biafran flag was never banned in Nigeria. The name Biafra and the advocacy is being done publicly in ways that they could not have done if they had lost the war and Ojukwu was killed while resisting. You can compare that with the movement of the UPC. Ernest Nwani, when he was fighting for independence of Cameroon, total independence, they offered negotiation, he refused. And his forces were being undermined. The Cameroon government even used Jongu Foncha to travel to rebel-held areas and convince the Maquisards, the freedom fighters, to lay down their weapons, while Ernest Nwani was refusing negotiation. Before he realized himself and tried to negotiate, all his fighters had dropped down their weapons and returned back to their village lives. And the Cameroon government had no incentive to negotiate with him, and he was publicly executed. The whole patriotic ideology of Cameroon died because he failed to make a negotiation when he could. Had it been the UPC negotiated and stayed in the government, had it been the SDF negotiated and stayed in the government, they could have built a more better institution to give more rights and freedom to our people. The wise should know that. These are common sense. Ambazonians, we of the People's Right Advocative Platform, the biggest network within our community that speaks for the most part on behalf of our people who cannot speak for themselves. We have taken this path to lead our nation and to come out of this crisis, not because we are surrendering for Cameroon. It is important that we don't allow our struggle to get into a total loss scenario. Soldiers on the ground are already engaged in direct negotiation. Do you think they are competent enough to protect and preserve our sovereign interests? Take a look at Widikum, where the entire Ambazonian fighters in Widikum have surrendered through this negotiation that is going on ground zero. Is that the way you want things to go? Is that the way you want things to go? Those who are making noise, saying that we should not negotiate, we should not get into cessation of hostility, it is liberation by force. We should fight till the last man standing. They say so without knowing how this war has been won. I have fought this war. I've been our chief propagandist. I've watched soldiers being removed from hospital and executed, with me monitoring what was happening. I've recruited soldiers who have lost their life, close ones that I cannot mention. I know our capacity. We help build them. Today, I will advise all soldiers, like I'm advising Sumanguru of the ADF, who recently almost was killed by the Cameroon military, and he has run away from Batibo into Ngi, in an area where he doesn't know very much, have less information about that. Please, my brother Sumanguru, I don't want you to die and waste your life. Go to ground one. Contact me. I'll keep you safe, like many other soldiers. Let us preserve our capacity to be able to fight tomorrow. Give peace a chance. Give negotiation a chance. The cessation of hostility, the change in our trajectory of propaganda, our public rhetoric, is not just needed or warranted. It is the only way we can secure the process which we are engaging. We must do what we have to do to end this war of shame and stand for one Cameroon, two people, one country, two people, total devolution, constitutional devolution that grants our people right of self-governance. This is what we are standing for. This is the only path for Ambazonian self-determination. So we want to thank our international partners for the wonderful job they have done. Our case have been heard in places that we could only imagine as a result of the stance we have taken. This shows how much we can accomplish. We should not lose this opportunity. As I always say, our people never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. So help us, God, to break this cycle. God bless you.